The Democrats do not campaign outside of every 4 years. The Republicans campaign every day. That's the problem. There ain't never a moment where a Republican won't tell you about how the border crisis is happening. Democrats, on the other hand, wait for the Republicans to run the table and then respond. They always find themselves on the back foot for no reason. First in the draft, yeah, I know. This is like, everyone is talking about this. And I think so many people just don't understand that. So many people don't understand like some of the fundamental flaws here. You see, Don Lemon was watching my stream on TikTok. I heard, hold up, where is it? Don Lemon was watching me. Let's see what he said.
Right-wing ideology and talking points, and they don't even realize it. Here it is.
Massive amount of right-wing radicalization that has been occurring, especially in younger male spaces. Everything is completely dominated by right-wing politics. If you're a dude under the age of 30 and you have any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out, whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, every single facet of that is just completely dominated by center-right to, I wouldn't say far right in the same way that it was back in like the 2016 era at the end of like Obama's administration, but like definitely center right to Trumpian right, like openly Trump right, not like genuinely neo-Nazi. That part is quieted down a little bit, but like they're like 90% of the way there for the most part. And that's it. Everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic, thought leaders, influencers that they subscribe to, and I think
TikTok,
that is
how are you?
some of the reason why you see this movement.
Cry me a river. So I agree. That's why you see this movement. He's 100% right. Whether folks want to believe it or realize it or not, whether you want to admit to it.
Like for me, okay, the easiest route here is to just, the most self-serving route is to basically be like, yeah, I'm that guy. Give me the money, I'll be that guy. But because I'm such a stubborn asshole, every time people ask me this question, I'm like, it's not just podcasts. It can't be just podcast. You cannot message with just podcasts. Like, it's not. You can't just like make a liberal Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan didn't become Joe Rogan and then and then right wing gave him money and he became an operative or something. I said top 2 are Rumble and most likely bought it, but this list is insane. I'm the only person on the left on this list. Right wing media is incredibly dominant. Incredibly dominant. People don't understand it. Okay, people do not recognize what's going on. People do not recognize what is going on, and they're already writing think pieces where they're like, ooh, maybe we should wag the finger at the media diet of these people without like trying to figure out what the real underlying issue is. Okay, all of these guys literally love Bernie Sanders. They love Bernard Sanders. Okay, that's something you got to remember always and forever. Maybe not Aiden Ross, but don't matter. Can you explain people's journey from Bernie to Trump? I mean, dude, people do not make complex political decisions. They're not like hyper informed and making these decisions off of like real ideological standing. Okay, they're just kind of dumb. Most people are kind of dumb or too busy to pay attention to whatever is going on, right? Like right now we're looking at a dead body. Okay, the Democratic Party is dead. It's dead. It's dying. It's been dying. Now it's dead. Okay, and I see a lot of people who are emotional right now. I see a lot of my peers, a lot of people that I love who are looking at the direction of the country and going, oh my God, this country is so sexist. And it's like, yeah, it is. Okay. We 100% will write off entire subsects of the population for like 50 cent cheaper eggs. Okay. And that's an understandable thing that some people are doing. They're selfish. Okay. Most people are not empathetic, but you can't just stay there. You can't just like look at that and be like, all right, no solutions, I guess. It is what it is, right? You can't do that. You have to understand. You have to understand that people's material harms need to be solved. People's material conditions need to get better. Okay? And if you don't do that, if you don't advocate to do that, it's just not going to work. Other than Benny Johnson, you're the only 18 and 34 on that list with a college degree. I say yesterday, no relatable masculine figures other than you in that space. Brother, there are no relatable masculine figures in that space except for me in general. You think Benny Johnson is a relatable masculine figure? He is not. You think Dan Bongino is a relatable masculine figure? He's a psychopath. Like, I would say Patrick Bet-David is probably considered the most relatable masculine figure in that list outside of someone like myself. And most people on the right, if they're like super ideologically aligned with the right regardless, they're not even going to see me as a masculine relatable figure anyway. They see me as like a gay ass. Okay? Yeah, most of those guys, I mean, like Dan Bongino's crazy. If you look at this list, like, if you look at this list, like Dan Bongino is an insane person, right? Steven Crowder, again, lamest, right? Mr. Wife Brutalizer, Mr. Pregnant Wife Brutalizer himself. I wanna expand on this, and I have in all the interviews that I've given on this issue so far, because a lot of people have been reaching out, because like out of the hundreds of things that I've said in this past election cycle, many of which happen to be correct, I would say that the stickiest ones for the liberals and in the media specifically have been this take, right? And also the Democratic Party has like a real problem with younger men in general, and they've pushed them aside, and that right-wing media dominates all the podcasts and all the independent media. Okay. I think a lot of people are looking for like an easy solution on this, where they think like, oh, I guess it's because like people just saw Joe Rogan and became right wing or something like that. And that's not how this works, right? Like, you also have to change the message that the Democratic Party is communicating. And if their goal is to simply be like, oh, we got to drop this trans, we just got to be transphobic, you're a idiot. Okay. I'm sorry. You're an absolute dumbass. There is a way to defend trans people and not like aesthetically pander to trans people. And I think a lot of that comes from universality, okay, as a principle. Human rights is unconditional, right? You got to be like, listen, Medicare for all is happening, whether you want it or not. That means it's for every single person. I want every single person to have health care. Okay, doesn't matter if you're a Nazi. Doesn't matter what your background is, you're going to get health care, okay? That's the entire purpose. That is how you're supposed to message it. You're not supposed to hyper-target your messaging to be like, I am going to offer $50,000 in tax credits to startups created by trans people who only are non-binary. No female to male, no male to female, just non-binary trans people get the $50,000 tax credit. Like, that is an incredibly stupid way to message. Okay? Unnecessarily divisive. It's bad politics. It's bad policy. The MBs do not deserve the $50,000 in tax credits. That's what I'm saying. Okay? No more MB podcasts. But like, but the Democratic Party doesn't understand that. And not only do they not understand that, but they also have like actively hit Bernie on the. They actively hit Bernie on to be like, Bernie is so sexist. Bernie is so racist. Like, he wants, he's not pandering in a stupid ass way to each individual marginalized group. He wants like everyone to do well. And he's communicating a broader, more universal message. And then people are shocked, like, why that message works. People are shocked why the Democratic Party's message, on the other hand, that is like hyper-specific, hyper-targeted, is just not good. Especially because they also come across very disingenuous, right? Liberals make the mistake thinking you need, for example, a pro-trans person that won't shut up about trans rights. But what you really need is a pro-trans person who won't stop talking about working class issues. Exactly. Because at the end of the day, trans people are working class. Like, they're not magic. You know what I mean? They're not like magically above the same material harms that a white dude who's in the same age group is experiencing, right? Like, that's just, it's always so stupid when people just like hyper focus on marginalized identities in a way that like kind of doesn't make sense. and they do it for like aesthetic reasons, and then they drop it all the time. There has never been a moment in my career, okay? There's never been a moment in my career where I've been like, yeah, we got to drop this trans stuff, guys. Like, that's insane. If I were to do that, okay, you would be completely correct in shitting on me. You know what I mean? And it's not just trans people. People go, oh, why are you talking about trans people? It's like, it's just one aspect of it, right? It's one aspect of the conversation. It's not just trans people. It's the same principle for undocumented immigrants, right? Like, I'm not dropping that. I care about those people. I don't want them to get mass deported. They've done nothing wrong, right? People don't understand that like there is a way to communicate a progressive message without like coming across as a cynical panderer who at any moment could just drop that conditional allyship that they've represented. And the Democrats are fake. They're phony. They are always only aesthetically tokenizing certain marginalized identities, and then are constantly just going, which group should we shit on today? Which group could we drop today? And then they refuse to learn their lessons. They refuse to learn from these lessons. You know what I mean? Jamie Harrison right here. This is straight up bullshit. Biden was the most pro-worker president of my life. Saved union pensions, created millions of good paying jobs, and even marched a picket line. And some MVP's plans would have fundamentally transformed the quality of life and closed the racial wealth gap for working people across the country. From child tax credit to $25K for a down payment for a house to Medicare covering the cost of senior health care in their homes. There are a lot of post-election takes, and this one ain't a good one. First of all, hey, Jamie Harrison, you're gone. So why are you still chirping? Okay. No longer the chair of Democrats. Okay. Why are you still chirping, Jamie? Bye-bye, Jamie. Loser. Okay. That's number one. Jamie Harrison, perpetual loser. Why did they elevate him? Who knows? Number two, while there is truth to some of the things that he's saying in terms of Biden's agenda, you didn't communicate it. And also, these things are like, they are not immediate, right? There is no like immediate impact. There is no immediate impact in people's lives. Like, they can't comprehend it, right? It's kind of like saying, well, the economy is rebounding. It's like, it doesn't matter, dude. What do you mean? Oh, unemployment is low. It's like, okay, well, guess what, dude? Unemployment is low sounds great, but the problem is if people are still struggling and you're not addressing that, then they don't give a fuck about unemployment. This is not a culture war that you can just win by doing podcasts. Meatloaf's Wikipedia drama, eating disorder, Twitter turns on Trump, DDG on Kai Cenat. I just don't think people understand. Yale-educated former lobbyist for Bank of America, Lockheed Martin, Wells Fargo, Boeing, BP, etc. thinks concerns about the Democratic Party abandoning the working class is straight up bullshit. Yeah, I wonder why. Now, the thing is, the right also has their own Jamie Harrisons. The problem is they just message better, okay? Celinda Lake, a Democratic pollster on talking to voter focus groups. Everybody knows what Trump economics is, China tariffs, tax cuts. Then you go to ask them, what are the Democratic economics? And someone will make a joke about welfare, and then half the people can't name anything. It's nothing like the Republican brand. Like, the Democrats do not campaign outside of every 4 years. The Republicans campaign every day. That's the problem, okay? It's so out of touch. Yeah. There ain't never a moment where a Republican won't tell you about how the border crisis is happening, you know? Every single goddamn day. They're doing mass, everybody. They're lying too. It's not like it's true, but it doesn't matter. They say it every day until it becomes reality. Democrats, on the other hand, shut up and wait for the Republicans to run the table and then respond. They always find themselves on the back foot for no reason. They do not understand because the Democratic Party does not communicate it. Another House Dem aide gets in touch. Our party must learn that outside of our tiny insular bubble, AOC's toxic Democratic brand with swing voters, her primetime DNC speaking slot played directly into the narratives that lost us this election. Yeah, I don't think these guys are going to learn. I don't think they're going to learn. I think they're going to wait and allow the Trump Republican Party to just like destroy the country so that the unpopularity of the Trump Republican Party will then let them put forward another very crowded field, okay, of Democratic primaries where they'll inevitably elevate one of the worst dumbasses. Like, it's going to be Pete Buttigieg, dude. It's going to be like a Pete Buttigieg, Josh Shapiro, Gavin Newsom ticket. Like, it's going to be one of those guys, and I'm going to die. Imagining that, imagining that in and of itself is just anti-intellectualism is so
I
bad.
think my real big prediction for the next 4 years is that anti-intellectualism is in. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of niggas is gonna think that they are being counterculture and think they're being punk rock. I mean, I guess that's not gonna be in. That's already kind of in right now. I'm pretty like come to terms with the fact that we might be entering the new dark ages as far as just like art quality goes and intellectualism goes and just like progressive thought as a whole.
He's
but
right.
That's only if we let it be. I'm seeing so many cowardly ass niggas. It's over. They win. Get your ass off the floor. Ain't nothing over until the cows come home. This shit ain't over until Allah rings the mother bell. And I ain't heard the bell yet. And just to see so many people like,
He's
oh,
right.
it's over. Nah, shit finna get dark. But that's why we gonna be needing more to light the way. Like, I don't know. I see too many giving up. I guess it's my main thing.
He's right. He's absolutely right. It's a great take. The NC doesn't realize how you need simple communications plans. There's reporting a lot of people didn't realize Biden wasn't on the ballot. AOC and other progressives have clear messages. Kamala pushed Trump agenda and didn't know why people didn't show up for them. Yeah, there are so many issues with the Democratic Party, man. So many goddamn issues, but like it comes from this, okay? It is their inability. It is their inability, or rather, their ideological goals that stop them from recognizing their errors. They just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. I'm seeing it over and over again. This is why I said to Michael from Pennsylvania before the election when he was like, it's better when the Democrats lose because then there's an opportunity to organize. I agree with him that there is an opportunity to organize, but I just don't think the Democratic Party is going to turn around and allow there to be any organizing, right? We shall see. We shall see. You know, it's just... They're so annoying, man. They are literally flooding mainstream media with this narrative right now. They're literally, at this very moment, you go on any of the major news networks, right now, you are going to hear the most insane from people like Cuck Todd, okay? And they're blue pilling your grandmothers and your mom and your dad by telling them this insane narrative that like Kamala Harris actually lost because she was so pro-trans. Like, when was she pro-trans, dude? She never said no damn thing about trans people. Not once.
We're also fed up with very super progressive attitudes. I think the Democrats, Joe, going back to your initial question, and you may disagree with this, I think they need to move to the center. I think the
What
center.
does that mean, though? When you say they need to move to the center, what do they need? Are you saying that they should not support trans people? Like, let's just be specific because that's what the ads are doing.
That's on MSNBC, by the way. That's on MSNBC. He's saying we got to move to the center on MSNBC. It's supposed to be the Fox News of the left.
So if the analysis and the immediate aftermath.
It's wild to openly be able to say this without like any consideration to what just took place. Kamala Harris did this already and she got destroyed. And you got charlatans on the main stage going, no. The problem is real liberalism hasn't been tried yet. Real tacking to the center, real moderation hasn't been tried yet. Kamala Harris's campaign in 2024 was objectively to the right of Joe Biden's successful campaign in 2020. The way she communicated about immigrants versus the way he communicated about immigrants. Real centrism has not been tried. We will get there. I want you to understand something. I want the Democrats to be a counterweight towards accelerating fascism, okay? I want there to be a competent fighting Democratic Party because if they keep losing, they're going to keep letting the Republican charlatans run the goddamn show. That's what I want. I don't care about ideological purity. I don't care about not agreeing with most of the Democratic Party's platform. I don't care. I just want them to actually fight. When I say harm reduction as a strategy is unsuccessful in motivating people to go out and vote for you, I'm not just saying that because I'm cynically proposing this because I'm like some secret leftist and I want the Democrats to be Marxist, Leninist. I'm saying that because I know that it has been a demonstrable failure time and time and time again. And I want the Democrats to not lose to the Republicans every time. I want them to fight, okay? At the very least, fight. Instead of running an autopsy on what took place, these guys are immediately rushing to every mainstream outlet they can go to deliver this false narrative that, like, they just didn't do the right kind of centrism. They didn't go far enough with the centrism. They were too woke. That's what the issue was. Look how red the country is. And it's like, no, dumbass. The country is not shifting to the right on priorities or the way that they're voting. There's plenty of people who you are just leaving aside, that you have written out of the calculation because you are making a false choice. You think you can win with the suburbs. You think you can win with just like the rich white people. And you can't. Historically, that has not been the Democratic Party's bread and butter. I said this over and over again. I said that this move, this Liz Cheney hug and kiss the Republican strategy, is going to hemorrhage the base of support. The bottom is going to fall out. You're not going to have high urban turnout. You're not going to have black turnout. You're not going to have you're not going to have black and brown turnout, youth turnout. You're not going to have white people that normally would go out and vote for you go out and vote for you, because you're not saying something to them directly. You're not addressing the issues that they're experiencing. You're just talking about civility. You're just making vague gestures towards how the system is actually fine. We just got to fix it. The economy's rebounding. The economy's rebounding. If people are feeling the pain, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you say the economy is rebounding. Yeah, if someone is making $100,000 a year, they're probably in a better position overall than many of the people that don't feel that way. And for them, institutions must be defended, sure. But for many others, it's pretty obvious. Wages have remained stagnant for far too long, and now inflation has outpaced the wage growth that people have seen. Weeks before the election, I've been arguing with my dad about how the Dems should tack left instead of right to win more votes. He would not budge. After Tuesday's results, he agreed with me that the Dems need to go more left to win in 2028. I think the liberals on the ground are starting to see this while the pundits and analysts don't. Yeah, the liberals on the ground are shaking from this experience, this defeat. But you need to understand something. They're still primed. They're still tuned into MSNBC. So all it's going to take is like 8 weeks of MSNBC coverage talking about how Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris did a fantastic job, and it was America that was far too racist to vote for her. And there is some truth to that narrative, but you have to outcompete that. There's nothing you can do. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and advocate that like a black person can never run for the highest office. It's insane, right? But if you do, you have to overcome that hurdle with charisma. You have to overcome that hurdle with good policies. You have to overcome that hurdle by actively communicating to every single person that you see them, you hear them, you know exactly what their pain is, and you are going to do something to solve that problem that they're experiencing. If you got no answers for the housing crisis that people are living under right now, 600,000 people are sleeping outside every goddamn night. If you have no answers for that, okay? If you have no answers for any of the issues that people are experiencing, then yeah, they're going to punish you. They're not going to vote. They're not going to vote at all. You cannot always rely on the Republican Party increasingly making the situation worse and worse and worse and worse year after year to then win an election, okay? Marginally, by the way. And then tack to the center, where the ratchet effect happens every cycle. Republicans up, Democrats fix some of it, but barely. People are still hurting. Republicans win again. Up further. Countries move to the right in the process over and over and over again.